Snow's a genuinely nice guy. I'll say this one more thing about Snow. Snow doesn't eat in the cafeteria. He goes to the cafeteria and he gets a meal for the old man, and he gives that meal to him. He only gets one meal, and he gives that meal to this old man who can't make it to the cafeteria, and nobody else is going to bring him any food. And then he cooks for himself, and he would offer me food every day. And he's a good cook. He would make breakfast burritos. He would steal eggs out of the kitchen and onions out of the kitchen, and it would be like a tortilla with refried beans, Spam, scrambled eggs, and onions. It was good. It was fucking, it was, it actually, I mean, it was, I mean, I don't love Spam, but like in prison, it's like, hell yeah, give me some more of that. He made me a nacho bowl the last weekend I was there. We'd been talking about it for a month and a half. He's like, yeah, I'm going to make you a nacho bowl on the last week, because he knew I was on a diet. And he just get this big bowl of like Doritos and chips with tortilla, with refried beans and chili and also like steak. He made carne asada in prison in a microwave. It was absurd. Nice guy.
Is Snow the one you offered your radio to? Is that how?
No, that's a black guy. I honestly don't know the black guy.
That was the dreadlock guy.
Yeah, dreadlock guy. When I finally gave him that radio day before yesterday, I told him, I'll give it to you on the night I'm about to leave. I gave him the radio. He couldn't believe I had actually fulfilled my promise. He was like, may God bless you and all your future endeavors.
For $100 radio.
He's like holding my hand, like I'm shaking his hand. May God bless you and all your future endeavors, young man. Folks in here, really they say one thing. They say one thing and they do another, and you are honest man, and I appreciate that, because that's a rare thing in the world, and that's damn rare in this lockup right here. Thank you, young man. And I was like, I guess I'm an honest guy, man. I've intended on giving you this radio the whole time. It was my idea. Like, I don't want this radio. And I'm just like, yeah, man, you enjoy.
Did you have other things to give out? Like maybe
I gave shit out to everybody. Clothes. Yeah. Greg, my cellmate, he got my cup, my reading light, my dishware, my Tupperware, my knives and forks, and my shampoo. Snow, he got all my condiments, my mayonnaise, my ketchup, my mustard, my sriracha sauce, my spicy Asian sauce, like all my condiments and stuff that was actually kind of valuable. Little things that I just passed out to random people. Oh, here's some extra earbuds. Here's a crossword book. Anybody who needed a thing. And
did you ever go to the commissary with the purpose of buying things to hand out and kind of ingratiate yourself to the population there, where you're like, max for, hey, 10 of you, each of you get 5 max?
Yeah, no, but I was going to do that on the last day, but it wasn't my dormitory's day to shop, and they wouldn't let me shop. And I was like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Just let me shop. I'll go last. I'll be last in line. He's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, fuck you, you piece of shit. All right, I'll take the money out of your stupid prison system and spend it in a mall somewhere. By the way, I've got this debit card. I'm not going to show you. It's out in the car somewhere. It's hideous. I've got this debit card. It's the most bootleg ghetto shit ever. It's like my mugshot on like a Citibank debit card. It says like Metro Bank or something like that. It's got $87 left on it, which is my commissary balance. I'm going to use that for online purchases. I am not. That's not the card you hand to the maitre d' at Morton's.
Oh, this will pay for half of my first steak.
I know we're getting off of prison stuff. I've got one more thing. Did they have whole shebang potato chips there?
Nope. Asked about them. They didn't exist. They had Lay's stacks. They had pork skins. They had tortilla chips, and they had Doritos. That was the potato chip menu.
Okay.
I'm curious about that myth where, they're like, oh, don't take a fucking Snickers from someone on day one, or you're going to owe them until you pay them back. Like, was there anything even akin to that?
There was a lot of owing people things, and everybody paid. There were records kept, paper records, of who owed who what. Whether they were doing football's big. They bet on football a ton, college and professional. And everybody paid up, everybody paid up. No, if they don't pay up, you don't let them play anymore, right? And that's the whole point. So like they're gonna pay up. But yeah, we'll get off this. Next week I want to talk about the prison entrepreneurs, the drug class I was forced to take, the job they tried to force me to work, the counselor, my case manager who was dyslexic and messed up my paperwork 6 times, my release paperwork. And we'll talk about some of the other minor inmates who were bizarre individuals And we'll talk about some of the other nonsense that went down, like some of the random things, like like the guy who shit on the toilet seat, or the
Wait,
and
go
left
into
it.
that, please. Please,
It's a
That
tentpole
motherfucker
topic.
done shit on the toilet seat. What ignorant motherfucker done shit on the toilet seat that every one of us motherfuckers got to sit back down on? Get your ass in here, clean this shit. I ain't cleaning this shit. They pay me 8 cents a goddamn hour, and it ain't the clean shit.
I got some
Nobody
questions
moved.
too. Well, I'll
Nobody
wait for
moved.
Just
a good time.
spraying shit all over
Just
a
laid a
prison
t-
bathroom. That's
Somebody
risky.
goes, which toilet was it? What fucking difference does it make? I like to use 3.
Is that what he said? That's a good answer. Yeah.
I like to use 3 too. It was all the way in the back. You didn't have to sit between 2 people. You
I
get
like
spray
to
under the-
use 3.
I'm like, touche. I'm sure that's what he replied.
I'm
Man,
gonna shit on 3 then.
it's so funny because Woody and I and every guest we've talked to while you've been gone, they'll be like, we'll bring up like, yeah, thanks for coming on the 2 guest show because Kyle's in prison. They're like, oh fuck, really? Like for real this time? And we're like, yeah. They're like, God damn. We're like, no, it's fine. He's having a fine time just reading Harry Potter and napping. And it does not sound like that was the case at all.
No, it was pretty. It was a lot of nonsense going on. I told somebody this yesterday. I was like, certainly wasn't Oz. Okay, I'm not trying to say that, but it certainly wasn't summer camp either, which was how it had been painted by some people.
Yeah.
As soon as I got there, the guard who took me from medium over to the camp, she was like, "Don't let anybody pressure you," and I was like, "The fuck do you mean?"
Yeah, what?
It means don't let anybody pressure you to suck their dick.
Oh,
Or something like that.
okay, thank you.
And so immediately I'm like, fuck it, this is for real, huh? She's giving me like, and it's not a dude who might joke around. It's this woman she's a counselor there. Counselors are like, it's not like a guidance counselor. She's like running a dorm. One of the dorms is her to look over, and like the prisoners are her charge. She's like a sergeant in the army, kind of between an officer and a grunt.
Yeah, like an
If the
NC.
guards are grunts, the counselors are sergeants, and then there's like captains who are over the whole thing, and unit managers, and then there's the warden, and then there's a whole chain of command in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. But yeah, next week will be interesting. I'll get into some of the nitty gritty nonsense.
You started one of my questions, so let's finish. The summer camp thing. Were you intentionally playing down your expectations for this, or were you just off target?
No, I was intentionally playing it down. I do that with everything. Whenever I feel like if you
as a coping strategy or a social one?
No, as an internet strategy. I feel like anytime that you talk about what actually bothers you or something like that, you're exposing a weakness to a lot of people that like to hurt you. There's plenty. So
That exists.
You're opening a wound for them to pick at if you do that. If you're like, oh, I'm really worried about this, I'm really worried about that. Well, now they've got something to pick on you about or something to go after. So I've always had, stuck with the mantra of, you can't get blood from a stone, right? Just always stuck by that, and I always will. There's no. Some people you're like, well, I know what gets his goat,
Mhm.
and I just try to avoid that. But yeah, going in, I was. I don't know what my expectations were. I suppose my expectations were across the spectrum. I was like, it could be this bad or it could be this good. It could be fucking fun and good times, or it could be a nightmare. So, but one way or the other, it's 2 months, and I'm gonna survive it, and and I'll just do it. Every day. It was such a weird coincidence, Woody. The blocks on the wall from the front of the dorm to the end of my cell, there were 56 blocks, and I had 56 days. And so when I first got there, I counted them just because I'm laying there with nothing to do. And I'm like, holy shit, that's how many days there are. It's this panning, head turning motion of counting all the blocks. And I was like, that is an impossible amount of blocks.
Not
56 blocks, of course, not impossible, not quite. But it was daunting to look at 56 of those blocks. As time went on, it was like, 12 blocks. Can I visualize 12? And it's kind of hard to get 12 in your point of view. Yeah, that's 12. I can see the amount of blocks right there in front of me. And then just every time, 6, 4, 2, one, it was like, you're in trouble.
Yes.
I'm grinding you down.
friends.
You see what I did to the rest of them? I'm grinding you down tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep so long.
You got out
Dude,
early.
one of the big takeaways for this
2 months,
is
28 days
No,
each.
well,
56
I'm not
days.
saying it right. You got early in the morning. I was surprised. I knew that your release date was Thursday, and I
Yes.
got a text at like 8 a.m. or something. That you were outside.
Yeah. My release date, I could have gotten out a little bit earlier than that. Kitty got there at like 8:15, 8:20, and I was good to go by 7:45, I guess, something like that. Yeah, you get there at noon, and that day still counts. And then you leave there in the morning, and that day still counts.
It's nice.
So yeah, it's nice. Of course,
Oh.
it's a pretty big percentage for someone only doing 2 fucking months.
Mhm.
But for a guy doing 10 years, he's like, oh gee, you let me out at 8 a.m. Wow, thanks, boys. It would have been nice to get out in the 90s, though.
Yeah, it's like both my parents died while I was in here.
It's all like, I don't know, like that last day might present a hazard, right? People might think in a weird way, like, get them outside. Not you're in for 2 months, but if someone did 8 years, there's no reason to keep them waiting around until 4 p.m. It might freak them. It might mess with them.
Yeah.
Snow is the cool guy of the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, I'm